Today's story is truly inspiring. It's about a man whose life was filled with pain, patience, and ultimately, an incredible twist of fate that will leave you in awe. Before we dive in, have you subscribed to the channel, liked the video, and shared it? If not, please take a moment to do so, because your support means the world to us. Now, let's get into the story. Once upon a time, there was a man who had grown older without ever getting married. His family, including his parents, brothers, and all his relatives, were constantly encouraging him. Get married, they'd say. We want to see your children. We want to celebrate your happiness. But every single time, he refused. He would just shake his head and change the subject, leaving them confused and concerned. Years passed, and he reached the age of 40. His family's pleas grew more urgent. They worried he would spend his life alone. Then, one day, completely out of the blue, he announced, "All right, I'll agree to marry." A wave of relief and excitement washed over his family. But then he added, on one condition. They leaned in, ready to hear what it was. "I want my wife to be blind." Everyone was completely shocked. The room fell silent. "Blind?" they asked, bewildered. "Why on earth would you want a blind wife?" His request was so strange, so unexpected, but he was firm. He simply replied, "That's my only condition. It's not negotiable." His family didn't understand, but they knew they had to respect his wishes if they ever wanted to see him settled. What people didn't know was that behind this very strange request was a story filled with deep, unimaginable pain. To understand his condition, we have to go back to when he was just a little boy, about 5 years old. One afternoon, his mother was in the kitchen, boiling a large pot of milk on the stove. She stepped out of the kitchen for just a moment, maybe to answer the door or tend to something else. In that brief moment, the little boy, full of childish curiosity, toddled into the kitchen. He reached up, curious about the bubbling pot, and accidentally pulled it down, spilling the scalding hot milk all over himself. He suffered severe, life-altering burns on his face and chest. In those days, medical care wasn't what it is today. There were no advanced hospitals, no plastic surgeons, no cosmetic treatments to minimize the damage. The scars that formed were deep and permanent, changing his appearance forever. As he grew up, these scars became the source of constant heartache. At school, the other students would stare, whisper, and then actively avoid him. No one wanted to sit next to him in class. During lunch breaks, he would always eat alone, as other children would scatter if he approached their table. He learned to find quiet, isolated corners where he wouldn't be seen. At family gatherings, the same thing would happen. Relatives and their children would subtly shift away, leaving an empty space beside him. He became so used to this rejection that he developed coping mechanisms. He would often sit alone, turning his face toward a wall, or he would wrap his scarf tightly around his face and neck, trying to hide the scars that made him feel like an outcast. He later described this feeling, saying, "I always felt like I didn't belong anywhere. No matter where I went, I was the odd one out. The stares, the whispers, they became the soundtrack of my life. I felt invisible and painfully visible at the same time." Despite this emotional burden, he was determined to build a life for himself. He was a resilient young man. He worked hard, became an apprentice, and learned a trade, metalworking. He poured all his energy into his craft. He eventually became so skilled that he opened his own small workshop. His business grew, he hired workers, and he became quite successful from a financial standpoint. He was respected for his work ethic and his skill, but on the inside, he remained broken. The emotional wounds from his childhood had never healed. He never pursued marriage, convinced that no woman could ever look at his face and feel love. He believed his scars made him unlovable. So, when he turned 40, and his parents, now elderly, begged him one last time to get married, he finally relented. That the pain of his past shaped his one condition. "I want a wife who can't see me," he insisted. "I want a blind woman." His family, though still perplexed, loved him deeply and set out to fulfill his wish. Subhanallah, after much searching, they found a potential match. His family heard about a woman from the eastern region of the country. She was blind, but she was widely known for her incredible beauty, her gentle manners, and her good character. Everyone who knew her spoke of her piety and kindness. With hope in their hearts, his family arranged a meeting. When he finally met her, he was stunned. He later recounted the moment, saying, "I couldn't believe it. She was one of the most beautiful women I had ever seen in my life. Her face was radiant. In that instant, a profound sense of gratitude filled his heart." He said, "I thanked Allah right then and there that she couldn't see my face. I knew, in my heart, that if she could see my scars, she probably wouldn't have married me." She, in turn, was drawn to his gentle voice, his respectful demeanor, and the kindness he showed her. She felt a connection that went far beyond physical appearance. They got married, and their life together began. It was a union built not on sight, but on a deep, emotional, and spiritual connection. Their home was filled with love, respect, and tranquility. Their happiness grew when they were blessed with 2 children, a boy and a girl. They raised them with love and instilled in them the same good character they both possessed. As the years passed, their children grew up. People would often praise their daughter, commenting on her stunning beauty, her impeccable manners, and her sharp intelligence. She was a reflection of the best qualities of both her parents. Many young men sought her hand in marriage, a testament to how well she was raised. The man, now a husband and a father, would often look at his family with tears of joy in his eyes. He said, "Every time I look at my wife and my children, I thank Allah for blessing me beyond what I ever could have imagined. For most of my life, I thought I would never be loved, that I was destined to be alone. But Allah, in His infinite mercy, gave me more than I ever felt I deserved. He gave me a loving wife and beautiful children who love me for who I am." This story is filled with so many powerful lessons. First, it reminds us to never judge someone by their appearance. The pain that people carry is often invisible. What you see on the outside rarely tells the full story of their battles, their resilience, and their heart. Second, it teaches us that faith and patience bring incredible rewards. This man endured decades of loneliness and rejection, but he never lost his connection with God. He remained patient, and in the end, Allah never forgets a sincere heart. His reward was greater than anything he could have dreamed of. And finally, it's a powerful call to be kind to those who are different. A gentle word, a simple smile, or the act of including someone can change their entire world. You never know the impact your kindness can have on a person who feels isolated. Let this story be a reminder that true beauty lies within the heart, and true love sees beyond the surface. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please share it with others. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. We'll see you next time.